Hi, welcome. I am Leigh Koechner. I'm so excited you're here today. And I like to do everything that I do, I start out with 3 grounding breaths. So we can get settled. We can come into this present moment, the only place that life really exists. So if you would join me putting your feet on the ground and letting your feet feel the earth and feeling how we are connected by this invisible force, gravity, that it holds us exactly where we need to be. And it's available to us all the time, just like the loving light of the universe and of God that runs through each one of us that connects us all. I'm going to put my hands down to be grounded. You can also put them up to receive. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold for 2, and exhale audibly out of our mouth. And just use this time to get grounded. In through your nose, hold for 2, and out through your mouth. In through your nose, hold for 2, and out to your mouth. Our final breath in through your nose, hold, and out through our mouth. Okay, you guys, congratulations. Congratulations for showing up today, for making yourself a priority, for making your relationship a priority. When you put yourself first, when you take care of yourself, when you practice self-care, your world reflects it. Everything's better. So I just honor you for being here and making the self-honoring choice. Today, we are going to learn 3 steps to heal your relationship and 3 steps to create a new path if your relationship has run its course. And I feel passionate as heck about this. I'm sure some of you guys know that I am navigating a divorce right now. I fell in love with a man who I believed I was going to die with. I love him with all my heart. I saw him, I was like, finally, you're here. And I thought that was the end of the story. But as life goes, it was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a story that I knew nothing about. So we hold these ideas that we think our life is, and then when they get shattered, we get all lost because we're actually holding an idea that our human brains created, not something that the universe created. But what I love about it is it was the biggest, most earth-shattering thing that's ever happened in my life. When our relationship ended, and I fought for 5 years like hell to keep it together and tried so hard. And by the way, when you try really hard, when something feels hard, it's out of line with what's supposed to be happening. That's just a little tip for things when you're trying really hard, you're out of line because really the universe flows with grace and ease, and that's what we want to ride. So just be aware of your body when it's like this. You're like, I need to make a new decision. I need to step back and evaluate what's happening. I didn't have that clarity, and I fought like hell for 5 years, and it wore my ass out. But what I'm so excited about, I developed this course. It's 6 pillars from pain to power, from anger to love. It's called For the Love of Divorce. And I was so excited I created it as I'm navigating it because it was the fastest I went from feeling all of the pain into curiosity, into the learning, into the expanding, as opposed to feeling all the pain and years of suffering. And you guys know what I mean. Suffering is like when you think about it, your body still heats up, right? Or you're holding on to an old thought and you're so mad as hell and no one's getting hurt but you. You're drinking poison and no one else is getting affected, or you're holding a hot coal and you're getting burned and everyone else is skipping around. So I skipped that part. I skipped the suffering. And I'm excited to kind of talk to you today about how I did that. But I want to give you a few fun facts first about relationships. You attract where you are. And I really want you to hear these things with new ears. It's the law of attraction. If you feel crappy, you will attract someone who treats you crappy. If you feel good and in your power, you will attract someone who's treating you well and is in their power. So I want you to really start paying attention of how you're showing up in the world, because you are telling people how to treat you. You know, when you're like in a restaurant or something and you see somebody talking to a waiter and you see the waiter just going like, and he wants to get away from that table. Or if somebody's talking in such a way that the waiter's like, oh my gosh, I love this table, I never want to leave, right? That person might end up getting a free cocktail or a free soda refill or preferential seating because they're showing up in a beautiful way. and not running away and never going back to the table because they're a jerk. So just be aware of how you show up, because we all carry an energy, and yours is either a repellent or you're attracting people. You know, if you're feeling down, you're attracting people who feel down and depressed, and it's birds of a feather flock together. So just be aware of how you're showing up. I think that's huge for kind of owning your part in life, owning your part of your reality. Relationships. I wish somebody would have told me this before I got married. Relationships are a safe, loving space for you to get triggered and heal old hurts. So that means your partner does this and you go, can't believe he's doing that. Can't believe he said that to me. I can't believe, and there's this big reaction. It's not actually what your partner did. It's what he triggered. It's something inside of you that's needing attention. And healing, the definition of healing, I believe, is applying loving to the places that hurt inside. So if I knew I was going to be attracted to someone who was going to help me heal, but it might be difficult and painful at times, but he wasn't doing it to me, he was doing it for me, for my healing, then I wouldn't have been so angry so often at Dave for how I was feeling. I would have been like, oh, wow, he's showing me how much work I have to do. So I love that perspective. It puts you more in power as opposed to being a victim and blaming of your circumstance. Relationships for me, what it means to me is two people who are moving forward together. That's a relationship. When you're moving forward together and you have someone walking with you, you can work with someone. You can do therapy. You can try other couple stuff. You can try so many different things, right, to work it out. I believe a relationship ends when one person sits down and one person's moving forward and one's here. And you turn back to look. And I remember when I met David, I had very low self-esteem because I thought I wasn't even good enough for my own mother to get out of bed because she was mentally ill and locked behind a door for my childhood. So I didn't think anything mattered. I was a wild ass and got drunk and partied and didn't even want to talk to people after I made out with them. And by the time I met Dave at 30, I was tired. And once we connected and I knew it was my husband, my old pattern started of getting drunk and trying to pick fights with him. And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. And he said, well, let's go see a therapist. And I describe it like he was holding my ankle while I flopped around like a fish. And when I was too tired to flop, he picked me up. And that's why I'm going to love him forever, because I'm so aware of he got me on my path to healing. But then after we were married 22 years, in the last 5 years or so, he sat down. And I kept elevating and growing and expanding and going, David, get up here. It's amazing up here. And he just sat there. And then eventually he started going down super far. And I was unable to see him or reach him or pull him up. And it took a long time for me to get it, that our relationship had ran its course, because I was holding on to this thought, this was my guy until I died. And I didn't want it to end, but it did. And I remember feeling the enormous pain for the 5 years as he was going down the hole and I was trying to pull him up. I was just grieving. For 5 years I cried. And I remember crying out so hard that one day I was like, all right, I don't think I have any more tears right now. What now? And that was a pivotal moment for me, that I chose curiosity and jumping into that rather than, I can't believe this happened to me. But I did have that for a minute when I was feeling the pain. I was thinking, I don't know what to do about money. I've never done a bill. I don't know. And I thought, okay, wait a second. I remember after I stood up after my crying and I looked down for the idea of what I thought my life was, a foundation with this man, it was gone. And I just saw that my feet were still solid, planted on the ground. And I felt up my legs to my hips, my belly, my shoulders. I was like, oh God, what do you have planned for me that I would not have done if I stayed David Koechner's wife? And in that moment, I started going, I don't know about money. I'll learn about it. I'm going to create my business that I've always dreamt of, but I was too busy being a mom of 5 and Dave Koechner's wife. But really, I'm here to shine my light and it's my time. And I never would have done it had my relationship not ended. I wouldn't have stepped back into my power. So I just want you to know, from relationship struggles, there's so much to learn and it hurts, but there's so much more to gain. So just keep that in perspective, because it's a beautiful gift I've been given. And that's it. Just remembering that when somebody sits down, you're no longer equally yoked, right? You don't have someone to work with. So then you start thinking, do I want to spend my life with someone where there's no fun or joy and I'm just doing it because I feel like I have to, or for the kids, which, by the way, is one of the greatest disservices you can do to the child, is stay in a marriage, a loveless marriage, as they watch and witness that. Because we're modeling for them how to live. We want to show them how to be fully alive. So I wept in front of my children, and they knew how much pain I was in and how much I loved their daddy and how devastated I was. And they saw all of it, and then they saw me rise. And that's so beautiful for them to see, instead of me saying in mediocrity and never fully reaching my potential. So just be aware of that. Carl Jung says a quote that I love. It says, the greatest, something like this: the greatest disservice in the life of a child is the unlived life of the parent. Let that sink in. If you're being a martyr and pretending you're hanging for the kids, you're modeling for them, not living your true self. And we want to be in joy and happiness. Okay, we're going to jump in right now for 3 steps to heal your relationship. 3 steps. Remember, I think every relationship can be healed if 2 people are moving forward together, not even at the same pace, but they're both moving towards a common goal. Okay, the first way to heal your relationship is to look and listen. Now, I'm going to tell you a new way to look and listen. Do you know the number 1 way a person feels like they matter is when they are seen and heard? So if you're a parent, you can let go of your to-do list or signing up for the perfect schools or camps. The number 1 way that your child's going to leave your home knowing that he matters is when you see him and hear him. See him and hear him. I want to give an example. I was learning about mindfulness some years back, and I was practicing it daily, at least once a day, to try and feel it. And I remember my son said, "Mommy," and he was little and he kind of talked like this. It was super cute. And he was like, "Mommy, can I ask you something?" I was like, "Yeah." And I got off my computer, I turned around, I squatted down, and I looked right in his eyes, just like this. I said, "What is it, Sergeant? What would you like?" And he literally went, "I forgot." And I was like, it was so overwhelming for him to have all of me, because I have 5 kids, and I realized they were always talking to my back when I was on my computer, or to my shoulder in the car. I didn't even know how often I got down on their level to look them in the eyes. So just be aware that the number 1 way people feel like they matter is to be seen and heard, and that's for adults as well. So in relationship, you want to see the person by not going like this, "Uh-huh. Oh, that happened again. Great. Oh my gosh, no way, you're kidding." Because I really don't feel heard when my kids do that, or my partner, right? So we want to put down everything, and you want to look at your partner square in the eyes, just like my little boy, and say, "Tell me about it." And then being mindful means that you're all into the present moment with no judgments, right? So if he's telling you about something from work that he's told you 7 times and you're freaking sick of it, that thought is hurting your body and making you tense. And he's sensing you're not really listening, but you're judging. So we quiet our minds and we just look right at him, so they know we are all into hearing them. It's not like you have to do it like for an hour or anything, but just the 5 minutes while he's telling a story, just really look in his eyes. And then listen with the ears of your heart. Don't listen with this crazy ass spinning troublemaker. Listen with your heart. So you listen to him, what he's saying, and you listen with no judgment, and you listen with compassion and kindness. He's telling me this for the 10th time. It must really be heavy on his heart. This is what I have to do. If I start giving advice, he's going to run and slam the door like my kids do. I'm going to listen quietly, because I bet he's going to work himself out just by me listening. I don't have to do a damn thing. Right? That listening and looking like this, I'm all in. I don't think there's a more beautiful way to show that you love someone, anyone, any relationship. Okay, so that's number 1. Look and listen. Number 2 is Communicate. We are not trained in communication. Here's like a quick example. I'd be like, I'm going to my office and there's my water there and something else. And I say, hey, bring back that such and such. And then I get home, I get back into the office. I think, I hope he grabs my water too. I just poured it. Of course he saw it. Like, and then he comes in, I'm like, you didn't bring my water? And he's like, what? You told me to bring this. I'm like, yeah, but there was a water right next to it. So they're not mind readers. We need to actually tell them exactly what we want to get what we want. Exactly our heart's desire to have it met. If we hope they read our mind, we are going to set ourselves up for anger every time. So just realize, wow, this is really important to me. I would really love it if, and David always did this, but I would really love it if David would open my door when I got in the car. That was one thing he always did. But if I would go with a guy and he didn't open my door, now, if I start dating a guy, I'm going to say, it's important to me that you open my door. Would you mind? And he'd go, oh, thanks for letting me know, right? That's off the thing. Because what we do is they don't mind read and we get pissed and we file in our pissed cabinet in our brain. And then those papers kind of get bigger and bigger and then they explode, right? And that's what like, there's too much with you. I can't with you. But if we just address each piece of paper as it came up and shared how we felt about it. So communicate and do it in a loving way. This is something that I love. This is huge, guys, because the only thing you have control over on the planet is how you respond to what life brings. That's it. And how you treat yourself as you respond. You don't know what the hell's coming. I didn't know that divorce was coming. But how I treated myself and how I'm responding to it is all I can do. And I want to do it with love so my body feels good and I feel strong. Okay. And then this one is a little phrase, a word that I created and got trademarked or something, which I'm going to really use one day, but I love it so much. It's called ownership. Owning your shit to a happy life. So just every time in a relationship, if it was with an ex, if you're already divorced or whatever, wherever you are, if you're dating a new person, you don't want to repeat the same stuff in your next relationship. Every time you want to point the finger in blame, turn it right back to you and get busy doing the work inside. So everything that we're mad about out here is reflecting something inside of us. And the more you heal, the less you get triggered. The more you work through the triggers, the less they appear. So I love that ownership is owning your part of it. Do you know that you are 100% responsible for your experience on this planet? 100%. By how you show up, by how you respond, by the choices you make, by how you communicate. You're 100% responsible. In relationships, you're at least 50% responsible for what's happening, right? You feel bad, you attracted a bad guy, he's treating you like shit, and you're starting to heal, and you don't want to be treated like shit anymore. There's no longer a match, right? Because you're evolving. So nothing's bad or good. It's just like where we are, people meet us. And as we move up and we want better, the people who aren't wanting that normally just fall away. It could be a friend, a sibling, or it could be your lover, your partner, whatever. So just those three things to save your relationship is listen and look with the ears of your heart and on the eye level. They got all of your all in, because that is the number one way to show someone that you love them. Besides making out, kissing, and all that other good stuff. Communicate. Be very clear with what you want. Be very clear with what you hope they do, so you can actually get it and not get resentful because they can't mind read. And also, if you say something and they get really mad, talk about it. Say, hey, how did you take that? How did that make you feel? Because I meant it from love and you got really upset. Tell me what you heard and talk through it. Because I know so often I would slam the bread box shut and stomp off or whatever, like a child, right? I was reacting from my hurt younger self. In reality, I should have turned around and been like, Dave. So what I loved is I have ownership over my part of the relationship. And one thing that I always did that looking back, I learned was he would start going, I'm going to talk to you about something, or you kind of like start like that. And he'd go, I'm upset about something because, and then I'd listen for a second and then I'd roll over him. You always say that. I don't want to hear about it. I've had it. And this kind of like fight or flight crazy thing where Dave didn't feel seen or heard. and he felt beat up. And I realized later from working through therapy that when I was a child, if my mom told on me, my dad would beat the shit out of me. And he would come in my room and I would say, but Dad, listen, no, you have to hear my part, pleading for myself. And something about when Dave would confront me, it would kick me into that little girl old pattern of I have to protect myself kind of thing. So it's so cool when you see the things that you're behaving now that you don't like are usually things, old hurts from your childhood, and they don't pan out so well as an adult. So starting to have awareness of where you hurt and healing that is huge. Okay. Now, right now I want to say, if you want to dive deeper with me, right after we're done and get a free 15-minute call, right now, pull out your cell phone. I'm going to show this to you. So you're going to type in 41242, just that number like that up at the top. And then down here I'm going to do that. And then down here at the bottom, you're going to type in my name. So you know where you can type information in? You're going to type in Leigh and hit send. So do that right now. Grab your cell phone, text Leigh, my name, Leigh, to the number 41242, and it will immediately connect us in real time. And you can fill it out when we're done, but it'll ask you a few questions. Then at the end, you can book a free 15-minute session with me if you want to ask a question or go deeper. I just want to offer that to you because I want to connect and get to know you more. Okay, now we're going to get into the 3 steps to make a new path. So as I said, once somebody sits down, the relationship's over because you're no longer working with a partner. You're no longer equally yoked. So the first thing is be clear and explore your options. So you could do a pros and cons list, or maybe you already know, hell no, this is a loveless marriage. I'm getting the hell out. Why have I stayed in so long? I want love and joy and happiness and peace. By the way, you guys, that's why we're here, is to be in joy and happy. We come with these beautiful bright lights and we get covered up with all this gunk, but we are here to get back to that beautiful bright light that we are and live our purpose and attract people who are loving the same. So just remember, is your relationship in peace and happiness? Right now, I bet not with the pandemic and stuff, but I'm just saying you should be having fun and be in joy. If it's loveless, everyone's suffering. That person is, you are, your children. So just be really clear. Has it run its course? Has my partner sat down? I'm going to ask him after this, are you willing to work with me to figure this out? He's like, I'm done working on this. You know, you're done. Right? You don't have to stick in a loveless marriage forever. You don't have to stick in something that's not bringing you joy. I'm very pro-marriage, by the way, but you can't be in a partnership when someone sits down. It's impossible. I mean, you can be sleepwalking and unhappy and in gray matter, but you can't be in a love-filled, excited relationship with a partner who has sat down, is no longer walking with you. All right, so be clear and explore your options. Start to think, what would this look like? How would I want to do it? Would I want to, do we have a lot of money and a lot of assets? Do I want to go to court and find the top attorney? Because I know my husband has money to pay, or I have money to pay for it. And I want to be represented. I want to get everything that's mine, because you deserve exactly what you deserve. You are worthy and whole and you deserve what's yours. Do I want to go to court? Do I want to get a mediator? Do I want to trust the mediator? Or do I want to have an attorney overlooking it? Start to explore different options. How do I want to tell my partner? Like all of these things. Just start to explore your options once you're clear that that's what you want to do. Number 2, find your tribe. Find your tribe. My tribes shift all the time. As I evolve, new tribes come. So you want to find safe friends to talk to, not your gossipy party friends, and they're all knowing your spouse and it's all intertwined and icky. No, you only share it with people who hold your heart in the palm of their hand. Those are the people worthy of this precious, heartbreaking thing that you are going through, thinking about going through, or have already been through. Find safe friends. Same with family members. Same with family members. If you have a family member that's got your back, they don't gossip about you to the other siblings, they don't wish bad for you, they're happy when you're happy and they're happy when you succeed, trust those family members. Never give your heart to someone who doesn't deserve it. Find your tribe. Your tribe also could be a doctor, a mediator, a lawyer, a therapist, a support group, which, by the way, when you do my course, you automatically get into our For the Love of Divorce Facebook group. It's private. And there's people who've already done the course that you can ask questions to, and you have a built-in community immediately. I'm excited about that. And the third, and this goes for everything in life, it's the most important for everything, self-love and self-care. It's imperative for your well-being. It's imperative. It's that dang thing that you hear all the time: when the oxygen masks fall down, people are going to die unless they get them on. You have to put yours on first before you assist the elderly or your children or your spouse or you have to breathe. When you are full of love, right? When you fill yourself up, when you hurt, you say, "I've got you, you're okay." When you set a spiritual morning practice, when you walk outside, when you meditate, when you do all of these, when you spend time with friends or with your lover, and you do getaways, or you walk outside. Walking outside, by the way, is so huge, so free. Doing this, do you know when you focus on your breath, it immediately stops your mind, your crazy spinning ass mind, which spins 80,000 negative thoughts a day, and they're the same ones you spun yesterday? That's the definition of insanity. We got insanity going on up here. When you focus on your breath, because our bodies are breathed without us doing a damn thing, when you focus on that, your mind stops. It's a huge gift to give yourself, to just close your eyes and breathe. Feel the cool air going in and how it's heated up when you blow it out. Not only will it stop your mind, you're crazy, it will also lower your blood pressure, lower your stress, relax your body. It's an immune booster. It's free. It's available everywhere at any moment. So just hold that in your back pocket and pull that card out a lot, especially right now. Another thing I want to ask of you is to please be gentle with yourself. We're so hard on ourselves. Nobody will ever be meaner to us than we are to ourselves. Nobody will ever just flog ourselves like we will. It's crazy. So be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to feel pain. Allow yourself to let it flow through you so it doesn't stay in you. Remember, when you hold on to negative things, it causes dis-ease in your body. And if you have a bunch of things you're holding on to and they're kind of going like this, a little bit crazy in your body, because that's not being at ease, that sends our body in dis-ease, they start to find each other. And a lot of times it causes cancer, or it can cause to throw your back out, or to throw your shoulder out, or to, it's kind of like when your body's in disarray and you're not listening to it or checking it, it kind of knocks a little bit like, the shoulder feels weird. But you keep plowing through and eventually you blow your shoulder out and you're like, I didn't even do anything. I'm not even a weightlifter. Or people are like, my back's been bothering me. And they just keep moving forward. So your back's going, hey, let's slow down. Give me some attention. I need you to apply loving here. You start to explore your body and let it talk to you. If you don't, it's going to knock you in your ass, and the dis-ease will become disease. Like I told you before, I did start this For the Love of Divorce course because I was so dang excited that I moved from the pain to the curiosity. And in the curiosity, I owned my part. I got empowered. I'm learning about money. I'm skyrocketing my business it's been inside me for so long. There's so many wonderful things coming. But the greatest gift I think I'm going to give through this course is letting you skip suffering. Because divorce sucks, but you don't have to suffer. You can feel the pain and you can get to the learning. And my gosh, it feels good. This is the first time I've gotten there so quickly. And that's why I created the course. In the course, there's 6 pillars that we discuss. The first one is grief and feel the pain. And it's like, this course is for you if you're thinking about divorce, if you're in a relationship, if you're divorced and you're still angry, if you have divorced and you're getting into a new relationship and you don't want to repeat the same stuff, if you have a friend or family member going through it, how do you approach it? How do you handle it? Also, the thing I love about this course is it is now my foundation. Oh my gosh, I didn't do all the rest of the things yet, but this is now my foundation for whatever life brings. I'm going to be at peace and happy. because I have this foundation to support myself. So no matter what comes, I'm good. And I know that for real after going through my divorce and this whole pandemic thing kind of all at the same time. So anyway, feel the grief and the pain. Number 2, find your tribe. It's so huge. And I help you do that. And I provide a Facebook tribe for you. 3 is self-care. And I help you set up your own daily morning practice to support you for the whole day. Number 4 is ownership. We really dive into looking at your part and owning it and making new decisions to not repeat them in the future. Because if you do, I think it's like 60% divorce rate now, which is going to skyrocket after the pandemic. But then I think it's like 70 or 75 or 80% on the second divorce's end, and like 95 or 98% on the third divorce, because they're just jumping and repeating the same things that they've always done that haven't worked. They're not awake going, oh, that's how I contributed it to it. Let me work on a new way of being so I don't have to ever repeat that. The spiritual perspective. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite. When I share with you the spiritual perspective of a relationship, you're going to have a whole new freaking view, and you're going to be in deep gratitude for what happened. And I can't wait to share that more with you about that. And number 6 is rise and soar. You've been given this gift. Everything is a gift. And I believe divorce is the same as getting engaged, having a baby, starting a new job, going to college. It's just a new playing field to play ball on. It's just a new, exciting what now? Life is impermanent. Change is inevitable. It will always happen. Our bodies change every single day. We're a different person than we were when we were born. How we look, and we'll be the same in 5 years. Everything is changing. So just go with the flow, right? Don't fight it. Feel the pain and jump in the flow of learning, expanding, and soaring. Remember that life is happening for you. It is not happening to you. Every single thing that's happening is for your learning and evolving and growing and loving. So we can even, taking that statement, we're no longer a victim. Oh, this isn't happening because I'm bad or anything. This is happening because it's part of my story and learning. What can I learn from it? Welcome the obstacles. Obstacle love. If you want to sign up, go to my Instagram page, go to my bio, and sign up there. I want to do a quick prayer to end this and begin the next chapter. And I'll just do it now with you. Dear God, I'm so grateful for the sacred time, for the people who have shown up for themselves. God, just honor them. Honor them for honoring themselves. God, I ask that you just sprinkle bright, white, loving light around everyone who's watching. Let them feel how deeply connected they are to you without having to do anything. They can just connect to you by just saying, will you partner with me, God? Will you partner with me, power? I don't want to walk alone. Thank you for always being there for us, silently just supporting us, waiting for us to tap you. And God, just let us breathe. Let us know that we're worthy of love. Let us work on our kinks so that we can show up in a more beautiful way. Thank you so much for our relationships and what they're teaching us. Amen. Thank you guys so much. You've got this, and I've got you. I love you.